Welcome back to the channel, Elderon here, back on Gran Turismo, where today we're doing a daily race on Alsace Reverse. A nice interesting track with some interesting corners, so we'll see how we get on here after not a great time last time. So we'll see if we can get on. I hope we're using the GTR in GT3. This is a GT3 race, so going for the overpowered car where we can to help out as much as possible because we're definitely going to need it. So into this race, you can see that we're qualifying in 11th, so not great at all. 4 seconds off the lead, so we're not looking great going into this race at all. Hopefully we can pick some places up and see what we can do. Not a great starting position from us here, right on the corner. Ideally, you want to be further forward, which is where qualifying is important here to be on the straight. And we lose quite a bit of time down the first straight to chuck tennis in front of us. We're going to be nice and cautious into turn 1. You see Chappers in front of us there in the Ferrari. He just spins out. And you've got Elias, the Frenchman, going wide on the second part of the corner as well, which we didn't want to do, so we went nice and cautious through there, picking up a couple of places into 9th place early on. So that will help us nicely, as well. That's what we wanted, to pick some places up. And hopefully we'll be able to get another place to chuck tenors in front of us here, but a big dive from the Frenchman up the inside into the hairpin. No contact at all there. There was absolutely nothing there. As we go back through into 9th, he's under control. And see Chuck Tenors now ahead of us. He's going to go slightly wide at this corner, and that's going to give us a chance as we come up the hill to close this gap and maybe look for a move into the double left-hander. He's going to go tight defense from the inside. We're going to look around the outside, and we're not going to make a move at all. We go too far around the outside onto the grass, and we're going to lose 1 place there at 2nd place, but he does have a penalty. We're going to drop all the way back to 11th where we started, as the guy with the penalty here is just going to go all over the place, goes through and not race very cleanly at all before the end of this lap. Goes for a big dive on the inside, lots of contact there, already having the penalty, looking for another one, trying to get in front before he slows down, even though he's definitely going to lose the place anyway with that 1.5 second penalty, and we'll be able to gain that place as well as he slows down, comes through back into 10th for us. Later on to turn 1 again, we're going to go nice and cautious as we see the car in front get a bit unsettled, so we get a better exit. We've got to try and go through the back of him, and thankfully it goes. I don't really know how we got away with that. That wasn't great gyro in front at all as we get past the McLaren into 9th place. Back where we were. Yellow flags as we come around this part of the track, and a car is just going to appear out of smoke, as it wasn't even ghosted there for a start, so we'll pick up the place there into 8th, and a very quiet rest of the race. We're going to finish in 8th place. We come around the final corner, can't get any closer to the cars in front, so 3 places gained on the qualification, but still not great at all. Only getting 8th. We need to do a lot better going forward in this, so we're going to switch to a different car actually. Do some more qualifying. We're going to go to the 911 to see how we get on with the 911 instead of the Nissan GTR, which may be seen as a backward step, as the GTR is known as the overpowered car in this class. But we're going to see how we get on, and we're actually going to qualify 8th, as you see there. We improved quite a bit in that one run. Bit of a short qualifying that we showed there. We get a slightly better starting position, not great, but just less of a turn to deal with, and instantly you can see the impact of the start here, as we get a much better start than we did in the Nissan, and able to pick up a place into turn 1. Again, we're going to go fairly cautious as we go the Spaniard, go to Super GT's mate Barry R into turn 1 there, and we're going to pick up another place there into 6th place. And again, another great start from us. We're nice into turns 1 and 2. Being cautious is the solution there. You just don't want to overrun into a wall at all. Get the back end out a bit there as we lose a place to the Spaniards coming back through, going for a dive into the hairpin, plenty of contact in front. We get ghosted from someone else trying to dive up the inside. So we're going to stay in 7th now as he doesn't manage to get through, closing in on these 2 later on in the lap. The Spaniard's going to run wide there and open the gap for us. Again, no contact from us at all. A really clean move as we try and come through, and definitely didn't carry too much pace and trying to take a line as if no one was there. So in 6th place again, trailing the other 911 that's in front of us. We again step the back end out around this final corner and run incredibly wide onto the grass. We would have had a chance maybe into turn 1, had we have not ran wide like that on the final corner. So we're going to have to come back and try and live to fight another day. The 911 in front is going to overshoot turn 1, and we're going to do the exact same thing and follow them and lose 2 places because of it. So after saying that being cautious into turn 1 is the solution, we then go against that as we looking to close the gap now on the 2 that came through. The Nissan in front is all over the place into the bank corner. We hold a better line but then drift out wide and follow the Italian in front of us into the barrier. Going to pick up a 1.5 second penalty for hitting the barrier. As we just get too focused on the car in front, try to go around the outside. That's not an option around there as the corner moves away from you. We're going to lose a place here to another 911. The German up the inside in the orange car. We're going to go down to 9th before we've even served our penalty. We're just going backwards at this point. Yellow flags as we come around to the big corner, the big banked corner again, sorry. As we're behind the Italian after serving the penalty. I didn't lose any places from that. We're going to look maybe up the inside into the corner. A little bit of a tap on the back, but we know that we're not going to get through, so don't try and push it any further. Coming around to the start of the lap, we've closed up to 6th place, that 911 from before, as a pack, and it's going to go 3 wide as the German's just going to go straight through, thinks he's playing bowling, straight through the other 2 cars, doesn't gain any positions, so we'll just stay where he is, and we're going to stay in behind, and hopefully we're going to pick up a place on him, because he seems to be a bit erratic. I might be able to just be consistent through the final lap and pick up a place, go up the inside of the corner there as he runs wide into the barrier, so up into 8th there late on into this race. With the 2 cars in front of us, there is a chance we could make another place, but coming into the final part of the lap now, we've not really gained at all in that middle section. Get a nice exit from the banked left-hander, we come onto the long straight into the final corner, but it's not going to be enough by the looks of it as they're battling. We're going to see if we can capitalise. A lot of weaving from the Italian in front and blocking. Can we get a move as they go slow into the corner? No, we just have to settle in behind, and it's going to be another 8th place for us. Again, very aggressive blocking from the Italian across the line. So we're going to go again for some more qualifying before we get into the next race. See if we can improve our time any more. And get forward. A bit untidy out of the right-hander there. Very easy to get untidy there and run wide. So we've got to be careful, especially during the race, that we don't want to do that and end up losing control of the car. But we're feeling good in this lap at this point. Confident that we can get a bit more pace, and we basically want to be on the home straight when we start the race to get a really good start. And obviously means that fewer people we have to overtake when it comes to the actual race. So hopefully we'll have a good time here as we come down the straight. You can see that we've knocked another half a second off of our previous time, or about a second maybe was it. But we're now into 155s. We started this session qualifying in a 157.4 maybe, I think it was. I can't exactly remember, but it was in the high 157s I think actually in the GTR. So we've pulled that down by almost 3 seconds now in the 911, and we're half a second up again, 0.6 of a second faster into the 154s, and obviously all of the competent drivers have left at this point as we have qualified first. Admittedly, we are still in the D category for races, so not a high quality, but we're actually starting on the front of the grid. So that extra qualifying has helped us. We're going to have the best starting position we can going into this, and we actually have a shot of winning a race here, which I can't believe, was not expecting going into this at all, that my little old 911 would be crossing the line first to start this race. So it's a nice start that we get. Good acceleration from the 911. And all we've got to do is be careful into turn 1 and turn 2, not hit a barrier, and that's exactly what we do. Play it nice and safe, don't lose a position, and we're safely through in first position from the start of this race, gaining to almost a second ahead as we come over the top of the hill, which is exactly what we want, trying to get away if we can ahead of Pomme de Terre, and hopefully we'll be able to hold this lead into the rest of the race. We come into the hairpin, a little bit untidy, not the greatest we've been through that corner, but again we're still getting ahead of our fellow competitors at this point in the race to 1.8 seconds, you can see on the left hand side there. So we're pulling away the entire time, and that's exactly what we need if we're going to go and try and win this race. Over 2 seconds through the bank left hander, going up close to 2.5, 2.3 at the moment. So we have a great start to this race, and we genuinely have a chance of actually taking a win for once, over 2.5 seconds, as we continue to grow the gap in this race. I can't quite believe what's going on here. We run slightly wide onto the grass there, but it's going to be fine. We're not going to lose too much time and then get back to extending. We're going to lose a bit of time now as we go underneath 3 seconds. We manage to get a nice gap, and we get nicely through the long right-hander into the left-hander. We're still sticking around that 3 second mark ahead, which is a great bit of distance that we can have. We've got a lot of leeway then to play with the next 3 laps, but hopefully we'll keep it nice and tidy, and we'll actually be able to come through and maybe get ourselves a win. So we come into the final corner, to have a nice clean lap for the start of this race will be an absolute miracle, and it's only what we've gone and done. So you can see by the end of the lap we're just over 3 seconds ahead of second place as we come through the home straight, and as we come through to the final part of the lap, we're even further ahead. After 2 laps, we've had 2 clean laps, really boring laps, so I've cut most of it out as we come to the final part of the lap again. Round the final corner, there's a new person in second place now, it's the Italian behind. As we look here, first place, over 5 seconds ahead with 2 laps to go. It's an absolute miracle. We're having a dream race here. So all of the competent drivers must have left as we run wide into turn 1, as we seem to do at least 1 point every race. But all the decent drivers seem to have left the servers and have left it open for us to come and have a nice race here. As we've lost a bit of time, as you'll see as we come round on the home straight here. We'll have a look, it's about 4 seconds now as we come across the home straight into the final lap. So we are a bit slower than the Italian driver behind us, so we're going to have to be a bit cautious of that. But I don't think we're losing enough time that it's actually going to become too much of an issue. But we just got to have basically all we need to do is have a clean race to the end of this, to the end of this lap, and the win will be ours. We don't have a mistake, don't hit a barrier or run wide, and there's no reason why we aren't fast enough to actually be able to carry this through to the end. Again, we're still losing a bit of time, down to 3.1 seconds as we come through the first sector. Managed to gain back to about 3.5, but we are slower than our previous laps. And it's just come up on the screen about 7/10 slower. So that's where we're losing the time from. We run a bit wide on this long banked left-hander, but managed to cut down into it and save ourselves, because we didn't want to run into the barrier again like we have before. We're still about 3 seconds as we're coming through to the 1 minute mark on the lap. As you see there, just hanging about the 3 second mark, still in first place, extending slightly as we come to the next part of the lap. Into the left-hander, we're going to have this long right-hander, which is really our only issue now for the rest of the lap, as we come through and hopefully take this win. So we've gained some speed there through the lap. We're going to drift out wide nicely and touch the grass. I can't believe we've done this. We've absolutely ruined it. We've put a toe onto the grass and spun out, and we're down into third with a penalty. Thankfully, we have enough time behind us that we should hold on to third. But I can't believe that we were going to win a race, the easiest race I could have ever won, and we've gone and ruined it. It will be third place, so a podium is still good, but it's absolutely heartbreaking that we've lost the race there from such a strong position where we should have easily won across the line in third. Even with the 2 second penalty, we're going to finish in third. So I hope everyone is upset for me as well. We will come back and we will win a race at some point, so be sure to like and subscribe to see that, as I go and drown in my sorrows as we head to the end of this race. We'll be back stronger.